Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good evening. Meeting of the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Finance Committee. And first of all, can I ask Town Clerk for any apologies for absence?
Councillor Green, travel commitment. Councillor Carter, the Mayor, work commitment. Councillor Franklin, personal commitment. And Councillor Anderson, travel commitment.
Thank you. And declarations of interest. Does anybody have any declarations of disclosure of human interests? Yep. Okay. The minutes of the Finance Committee last meeting, which was held on the 18th of September, I hope everyone had a chance to look at those. Do we have any comments at all on the minutes? Okay. There are two outstanding actions. I'll just quickly refer to those. So they both refer to the Finance Meeting 0724, item 6. So the first was the Council agreeing to do a similar exercise that was done for the Finance and General Committee. That hasn't been completed yet. It hasn't been at this meeting tonight or the previous meeting, so we'll roll that forward to the next meeting. The second action was for the Town Clerk to discuss with the Finance Officer how we might incorporate the museum budget into the more in-depth analysis review of budgets. We have a later agenda item tonight to start off that discussion, so that action is subsumed within the agenda precisely we can close. So the new actions that come out of that discussion, but this action will close. Public participation.
No questions.
We could move on to the payment schedules, and I'll do them the groupings that have been presented to us. First of all, the payment schedules themselves. We have attachments 2A to 2C, and they are to approve the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund payment schedule for the end of September and mid-October, approve the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall payment schedules for the end of September and mid-October, and to approve the Museum and Archives payment schedule for the end of September 2024. Are there any comments on any of those? I've just got one comment. It's just something, Tom Clark, if you could ask Karen to look at this in terms of when we get items included that are confidential. I've exchanged emails with her about this in any case, so I know the reason why they're marked as confidential, but I'm not sure there's restrictions on, for example, using the term salaries within the program that she's using. So if it can be a bit more specific without naming any individuals, it would help, rather than people who might pick up the papers and say it says confidential, what's going on. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Or at least ask the question.
I'll talk to the RFO about
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Or staff remuneration. Generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I endorse that? I also questioned this with the RFO. I've obviously got an appropriate response, but I understand it's salaries and not costs, because it covers some other things other than just pure salary. But whichever way, I agree with Councillor Trigger that it doesn't look too good to stay confidential.
I agree.
So that's just an action to take that and see how it can be amended.
So just to clarify, you don't like the word confidential?
That's what it is. Yes.
Okay.
I like the words. I like the words. The context.
I think the point is that if it simply says confidential, it arouses all sorts of possible misinterpretations. If it specifies that it's salaries and other costs or whatever, people will understand much more readily why this target is clear.
I think that the very fact is if you disclose what it is, it's no longer confidential. I think, I'll talk to Karen about it,
Yeah,
but what you can't do is share individual
no, exactly.
salaries.
Agree.
Yeah.
So what we're getting in the reports here are rolled up amounts,
Mhm.
so they will not be attributable to the individual.
Although company accounts or even non-profit accounts, you do generally reveal the highest paid employees' salaries or remuneration.
Yeah, I mean, it does vary from organisation to organisation. We haven't got a policy.
We haven't got,
with
but it is common practice.
But not in local governments. You wouldn't see the district council disclosing, obviously, if it's salaries, like you say, over a month, but it's not normal for, people's remuneration to be shared.
Any more comments on the payment schedules? If not, I'll ask if somebody is happy to propose approval. Thank you, Councillor Martin, seconding it.
Yeah.
Can we vote on that? Thank you. Moving on to the cash book and bank reconciliations, that's attachment 2D. That's to receive and approve the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund cash book as of the 30th of August. Any comments on that? No? Okay, so someone please propose that we receive and approve them. Thank you.
Yeah.
And vote. Thank you very much. Moving on the page. The next group are attachments 2E to 2G. And that's firstly to receive and approve the bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund as of the 30th of August 2024, to receive and approve the bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall as of the 30th of August 2024, and finally to receive and approve the bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Museum as of the 30th of August 2024. Any challenges or questions? No. I'm happy to approve those three. Councillor Bax, seconding on the vote. Great, thank you. And the final item is the attachment 2H, and that's to receive the Cruiser Cheviot reports for September 2024. And observations on the latest report. And I look at it as very much in line with the performance for some of us attended a session with Cruiser Cheviot, and they did highlight an opportunity, I don't know if anyone's been followed up on it, but an opportunity to consider the fund being run on a charity package that they offer, which they suggest incurs less cost and returns greater returns. Now, any fool, I think, could be easily sold on that, but they were going to provide information on that, I believe, to the town clerk, for us, the trustee, rather than the finance committee, to consider whether we do want to change the fund into this different status. So it's a scheme that they've been running, I think, since 2021. Yeah. The council was previously approached but decided not to avail itself of it, but we were certainly encouraged to take a look at it.
It worked well.
Any other observations on the constitution report this time around? No. It's standing still as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The fund is staying as it is, unfortunately.
I think we need to keep this under review, obviously. There is an issue that's come up for me recently about transaction costs. Every time there's a share trade, we pay a fee for that, and we don't necessarily control the number or capital of those transactions.
Okay, so I'm very happy to propose that we receive the report. A second, so I've got Martin's proposed, Colin has seconded. Can we vote on it? Thank you very much. The next agenda item is an item we've already covered in the Finance and General Purpose Committee. It was my update on the Assets Working Group. And to receiving the reports regarding the status of the working group, to approve recommendations, including the appointment of Councillor Green as chair of the working group, to approve the reduction in the scope to the single bullet that's listed in the report, and to clarify the position in terms of governance for the role of the property manager. Unless somebody feels they need to go through the debate again. So I'd like to propose that we accept each of those.
I would propose we accept each of the recommendations. Councillor Green, the chair, the scope of the working group being reduced to focus purely on the first bullet point, and that the property manager will still have the opportunity to report to the working group on his work.
Okay. Second to the head, is that to say? Unanimous, thank you. Right, moving on to agenda item 7, museum and archive accounts, visibility of costs. So I'll pass across to the town clerk in a moment to introduce the report that's been produced by the finance officer.
Thank you.
I suppose I'm just going to say, the context of this is that there are murmurings at times by some councillors that somehow the museum and archives, there's a lack of visibility around their accounts, how it's funded and how the money is spent. Now, I think the diagram that the finance officer has done is very clear to me and very simple to understand. So pass on thanks to her for that, and I think this has been circulated a number of months ago. So I'd really welcome views of those that are really, you have some concerns, if there's anybody in this room, is about what do we need to drill down beyond this. So,
Yes, so as you say, this is a direct result of queries about how the expenditure and the income and everything and how it's split. So this is to explain the breakdown of some total fund museum costs and income to committee members. The museum activities are self-supporting. Overheads are paid for outside of the museum account, and the attached diagram shows the costs and income attributed to the museum are distributed in each account. So, as you say, the diagram that the RFO has provided hopefully is very clear for everybody, and it does split out the income and expenditure and shows the breakdown as well from each account of the expenditure, whether it's the museum account, the Tollbridge Fund account, or the Tollbridge Fund vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, it is very clear. It might have been helpful just to have a figure against each of these headings, if you like, because clearly the income is minimal and the expenditure is much greater. But I think this diagram exemplifies the complication we have with the overall lease and the split of all the different accounts and so on. I mean, in a normal, ideal world, I suppose, the museum would be its own cost centre, where the income and the expenditure are all under one ring-fenced diagram, if you like. But it is something we need to look at in the future. But there's a wider debate there about what the purpose of the museum is and how it's funded.
Yes, yes, I know you've mentioned that.
Yeah.
A number of times. I think there is a separate piece of work there that needs to at least be explored. But in terms of visibility, has anybody got any concerns about what is produced, what we get to review, and what we get to accept or not? Because it has been mentioned more and more on occasion that there's a sense of a lack of visibility, but for me this is great.
I think it's a very good starting point. Could you thank the RFO for this? It's much clearer now. The difficulty is we have an extremely complex arrangement.
Yes.
And I think you comment that most of these items, if we have some kind of annual summary of what the cost. I mean, some of them will be absolutely trivial, but others won't. That would give us a better idea. But it is a bit of a labyrinth trying to get away from this one.
So what I would, just sorry to come back on that, because I volunteered to attend the Museum and Archives meeting this week, because they wouldn't inquire it. And I've seen the papers from that, and actually it does go into that level of detail. The financials are in there. Now, whether they, whether that throws up another set of questions, that's a separate point. But actually, lots of the things that you mentioned, you're on. Yeah, you are. Yes, I'm seeing you there tomorrow. Yes, there are amounts attributed to each of those headings, and so I think that the material's there.
Yeah, I'm not on the museum committee, but I'm the great believer that the museum has an awful lot to offer, and if there is a call for greater visibility, it's in my view that we would like to understand better what the museum is doing and how it's achieving it, how we can help it.
So I suppose that triggers to me, Councillor Miles, is how do we take this forward? Because obviously the Museum and Archives has its own committee. It has its financial information going into there. If there is a requirement to look at the complexity and simplifying, does that sit with that committee? Does it sit with FGB? Does it sit with STBF finances? In itself, that's complicated because
It can't sit with that committee because that would be like them marking their own homework. So it has to sit at a higher level with FGB initially.
Museums are like that committee reports to FGP.
So, but you're saying it should be the finance committee because F&GP is STC, and what we're looking at here is STBF museum account, STBF fund account. Yeah, so you can't actually, majority of this is on the Toswich fund.
Yeah.
So I think if anywhere, it should be the finance committee.
Well, this highlights the absurdity because the precept is paying the salaries. But in most cases. So
It's,
do you have a proposal, Councillor Miles, in terms of how we might explore the real?
well, I think it needs to await the result of the finance and assets working group work around the simplification of the
Yes.
of
So
the
I propose we take that into that working group.
We can't get that decision.
So, I'd like to thank, as we already have, Karen for doing that piece of work, and that we, from this discussion, agree that it will be an integral part to the one remaining item for the work on its progress over the next few months. Thank you.
so what we're saying is this is going to be an action for the working group finance.
It already is an action, so
Okay.
yeah, the Museum and Archives is mentioned in that in terms of reference for it as well. I don't think for now, I think in terms of what you've just asked, what I'm responding to is that Councillor Miles quite right, says we take it into the work for now, and then we'll bring it back to this committee at some point in the future. Okay. Right, that was the final item, so just quickly go back to the date of the next meeting.
So did you vote on that? Did you close it?
Well, those is next week.
Thanks.
I'll propose it.
Yeah, I'll second it because I came up with it. Character.
Thank you.
So, date and time of next meeting, Wednesday the 20th of November, following the STC FGP committee in this room. That's what the time it starts. Thank you very much. Thank you.
With reference to the chief
Monday, 28th. No, that's not 48th. That's,
Thank you very much. Does the heating in this building only come on the 1st of November?
No, it is on, but
Does it?
there's a part needed for this side of the building.
Ah,